Welcome back. After last video, I kind of like rewatched it and I realized that the audio was great. Um, sorry, not the audio was great. Sorry. Both the audio needed a noise suppression, and then on top of that, um, the video quality was really bad. Everything was very pixelated. So what I've done this time around is I've uh, upped the encoding software and everything like that. And I'm really just trying to get things ironed out on this channel. So forgive me that I really want to redo the first episode there. But the funny thing is that I noticed it was like an hour and 4 minutes long, and so I just opted not to. So we're going to continue here. We're going to keep playing. I'm just going to continue showing stuff off, but I'm actually just kind of going to be like casually playing and rambling. I think that I need more direction with like what I'm doing in the game, but you know, we'll get there. Um, I also noticed that my HDR was on, and I think that that was creating a weird look in game. So like, sorry, not in game, but when it was recorded and then finally put onto a video, it was. Am I? Is that an NPC or is this a? Or am I going insane? Alrighty. What is this exchange between these people? This is unnerving. This is an Elizin and an elephant? I quite like this sort of elephant in the room. Oh man, I can't. I can't. This is... That was actually kind of funny. I got the bartender. I need a Crown Royal apple with ginger, please. On ice. 10, 12 bucks for that, probably. Okay, so now let's go down here. What's up, ladies? Alright, I feel creepy doing that. Wait. This is pretty cool, though. It's got, like... When did they add this to Ishgard? It's like a hot spring area. Is that like a full-ass sauna? Nice. Okay. I'm gonna sit. We're cozy. We're cozy right now. Straight chilling. I want a sauna of my own. So one thing that I realized that I'm probably going to need to do is like level up my character. Now, one thing that's been kind of weird is that I'm realizing that this server I'm playing on has a lot of what seems to be Portuguese language. I think that at some point this must have been the like unofficial Brazilian server or something, because it's looking like that's the case. So maybe I need to transfer servers, I'm not sure. We'll check though. Lacking direction, right. I'm just gonna show off some more areas and just kind of chit chat and talk. We're gonna go to Kugane next. Kugane is kind of fun because the second expansion for Final Fantasy XIV was called Stormblood. This was kind of like a really big shock because people were like, oh, it's gonna be Weeb Town. There's gonna be a bunch of like anime nerds here wanting to go to Japan, and for some reason there were a lot of like fear that if they do that, it would get all like culturally dumb and stuff like that. And long story short, that wasn't the case. This is a beautiful area. Everything is really cool. Yes, it is a very traditional Japanese style, but like it's a cool area. And honestly, it got overshadowed because the other area, which was called Alamigo, it's like this big desert place, and nobody cared about it. But narratively, it had so much weight. It's so cool, though. This area, I love it. Sometimes, after rewatching like my old video, the last video at least, I realized that I have a tendency to be a little bit scattered with my thoughts, despite being on, you know, Adderall. Anyway, I think that I still have like a tendency to just drift a little bit. Part of that is also just being tired, like just from work and things of that nature. Hey, here they keep her in the castle dungeons. What else you got? Tea, I need the tea. Case in point, getting distracted. This is the markets area. It's really cool. I've always loved this place. It's got like weird old dudes here. Got like different merchants. This area's quite dead. It used to be like really packed with people. Every expansion, like people just kind of migrate. But such a cool like little area. Quite interesting that you can't go into these areas. This is supposed to be like the Garlemald's like chokehold on the city, but the goofy thing is they added these areas, but you can't really go through into them ever. It's like I don't know if that changes later, but it kind of feels to me stupid to have these giant plots of land in this city and not have anything to any place. Ooh, Rakusui Gardens. This is actually kind of cool. I like this. Very peaceful. All right. We will go. I wanted to check out an area because I had heard that in Yangsha, there's like a little like alcove that you can fly up to, and it's got like a nice little spring and stuff like that. So just checking it. One second. Pretty sure that it is somewhere near Namai. Is that it? No. Plum Spring? It might be that, actually. Let me go this way. We're gonna find out. I think that you have to, like, fly up into an area, and your mountain can fly no higher. Okay. Never mind. Oh, but I'm not even in the right area. I've got to fly down. I think that's it over there, because I can see it. Unseen spirits laughing. Fun. I hope that the unseen spirits aren't laughing at me. I really couldn't use that negativity in my life. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Plum Spring. Yeah, okay, so this is kind of like a cool area that, like, is kind of hidden. Maybe we should do, like, a video and be like, the top 10 smoke spots in the Final Fantasy XIV. And it be something of this nature. The music's quite nice. There's actual physics with the foliage here. It's quite nice. Quite nice. Excuse me for a second. I'm just gonna look at my. Make sure that like graphics upscaling. I'm trying to. I turned off HDR like from default. Such a fun little area. Yeah, but Final Fantasy XIV has always been kind of. It got there wasn't, sorry, you couldn't always fly in certain areas, and it unlocks like more what you can do. I mean, by Stormblood you unlock the ability to fly, but specifically in like these earlier areas, and people started like discovering little special spots and stuff. I might do a video on that at some point in the future. Now I want to go to let's go to Kalusha's kind of boring. Ilmeg. Arctica Greatwood's kind of cool. I think that we should go to... Just pick something. Yeah, I know. Alright, let's go to Yulmore. Yulmore is kind of this weird thing. It was closed off little city-state governed by a crazy god fiend thing that was masquerading as like the president, basically. It's a very simple explanation of it, but it's sure you more fun than that. And so when you finally like alleviate them of these of that, you know, tyrant, it then becomes opened up to you a little bit more. It's quite beautiful though. I like the colors and everything in this area. We got our first big-bodied Mikote cat person. Up until this point in the game, having a large and in charge character was just not a thing. It's very interesting to see it though. We have some fun characters here. The music here kind of reminds me too of a little bit of like Kingdom Hearts vibe to it, if you've ever played those games. I wish I knew exactly who the hell these people were. Another funny thing that they did is they added quite literally what is like the closest thing that the developers could get to as a strip club, basically, which was kind of like a controversial move. Originally there was like some sort of like interview where Yoshi P, the creative director of the game at the time, he was like, I want to make like a VR strip club where we have cat girls and stuff, and people are like, oh no. And so this was the closest thing. But he was like, I gotta make this fair, so he put like 2 male ones up in here. But this is definitely a very quirky area, and I do like how tastefully it's been done. It's fun. Got your bartenders. Fun. We got this dude. Rulamet. Yeah, it's kind of a weird area, but it's funny that they added this. This area reminds me, it's basically like the anti-Lenosha that we went over last time. It's the same thing, it's just like in an alternate dimension where like things became so bright that everything started drying up. The overall story of Endwalker is that we defeated all the evil in the world so much that it caused some sort of universal imbalance in the light versus the darkness, and the light got antagonistic in of itself. So, and then you're like, okay, well now we gotta kill the light and restore balance to the universe. And honestly, it kind of like lost me halfway the story through there, because it started to feel like they were writing themselves into a bit of a hole with all of this. Because the ultimate resolution was to just destroy the thing that was fueling the light. And I was like, This feels kind of dumb. So now we're at a place called the Raktika Greatwood, which is a fun area. Morrow Keep. I'm really hoping that the color scheme of everything is like looking pretty good. Because I turned off the HDR. This is like a tribe of peoples. Very fun. I feel like sometimes I'm talking like Mark Zuckerberg though. Like from those videos where it's like, wow, that's so fun. Yeah, great. Smoking meats. Like I hope that's I hope that's a okay comparison. I'm trying. I gotta find my YouTube voice and my YouTube demeanor. It'll come. Just I hope that people watch these videos later and like are like, wow, look how awful this guy was before developing some sort of YouTube personality. I was also like, maybe I should just start making these videos like as if I was showing them to like my friend who doesn't play video games, and then make more pop culture references and things of that nature, but I don't know. What the hell is that thing? That's terrifying. The Mind Maker? I will give them absolute credit. That is... it's bending my mind looking at whatever the hell that thing is. Crazy. Interesting work. Yeah, so we are in the Raktika Greatwood. It's like this collective of a bunch of trees that have just become overgrown in this area. I actually really love this area. The story is kind of nice here. You also get to see the home area of the Viera, which are the bunny people. Interesting bit, they were added in this expansion, and once again, very kind of like divisive, the reception of them. They are in lore supposed to be this race of, I guess, lack of better terminology, like Amazonian, tribal people, women, air quotes. All the men stay inside. It's kind of like reversed. Whereas the women are the ones that go out and hunt and do all that kind of stuff. So kind of like an Amazonian vibe. And in their whole thing, it was like they're not supposed to be, like the men aren't supposed to be perceived either. So it's kind of like a backwards... What the hell? That is such a crazy design. Sorry, derailed. We're derailed right now. Gotta do a quick spinneroo. Sorry if I make you dizzy. Interesting design. But the Viera are very much so a... So some people were like, oh, if you undo that lore bit, they are no longer like the whole like male and female Viera thing is moot, and you're gonna have to retcon that. And I think that the developer just said like, okay, whatever, and just still added them because, hey, I'm adding extra stuff. So then we got bunny boys, because we didn't actually even have a cognitive perception of what the male Viera was going to look like until like way later. I think it was like a few patches in that they finally added them. But initially I don't think they were even going to. But it was so requested, and I do like, the developers of this game, because they listen to the community, and if enough people complain, they're like, hey, we want this other thing, or we want that. It's like they're just like, yeah, We give it to him. Yeah, so if you'll notice when you go through, like, yeah, this is like the bunny people. Everybody likes a good bunny person. Like, come on now. But yeah, you see how it's like all Amazonian type of vibes and shit. I do like this area though, like these tree houses. This is very cool to me. I like the tree houses, and I like how they I'm cheating a little bit by flying around, but maybe I should get off. But this is a very interesting zone to me. I like the music here as well. I don't know what happens if you fall through all of that. If you've ever played Dark Souls, there's a zone called the tip of my tongue. Dark Root Garden, sorry. Yeah, and you can actually like fall to the base of the world, and there's like these giant trees that are basically holding everything up. That is what this all reminds me of a little bit. I'm wondering if I can go actually fly down there and like perch up somewhere. Because there's a zone over there down there. Let's try it. Okay, it looks like I can. I think you came down here for a bit of story, if I'm not mistaken. It's cool though. The music is so good here, nighttime. This might be a logout spot. What is this called? Isle of Sisters. It's very fair. So I would like to show off Wolkeldorf. I forgot how you even pronounce this place. We're gonna go to Ilmeg Norrant. Yeah, Wolkdorf? I can't even say this right now. This is a very interesting area. It's very like Irish mythology kind of like setting, but at the same time, everything's kind of like its own Final Fantasy variant of it. Like these like weird dragon things. It's very like a never-ending story vibes here. It's a very fun area. They put a lot of thought into the zone. But we will fly around Bobertenberg. I love how that's a thing, apparently. Waterfalls. I think this is like a side area where we have a bunch of the... Yeah, you can tell. We got the mushroom people. So these are kind of like our... I can't even begin to describe these. I forgot what they're actually called, but I gotta give them props. They are for sure interesting. They look like they've worn size 16 gauges for 80 years. They also kind of give me Dark Crystal vibes, or is that like the Muppets creator guy? He made like a side series, Dark Crystal or something? They give me that, but they also give me like, I don't know, just very interesting stuff. Got mushrooms. So we're gonna fly through this area again. We'll go to the next area. You've also got like fairies and stuff. It's very interesting in this zone specifically. One of the main, you know, plot lines of this zone is you're trying to help like this fairy queen get her stuff back, and after you topple the castle, so to speak, she gets her wings back. There's like underwater stuff too. Like the underwater buildings here, very cool. I love this. Just like this type of stuff in general, it's just so interesting. Environmentally design, environmental design is just interesting. I feel like HUP must have been like taking some shrooms and watching some Dark Castle during the time in which he wanted to try to make this area. This is a fun little house. So, see, we've got these like little fairy things. These are a faction that you have to end up helping. I do like this area. It's a big library. Although there's nobody here. After you do this zone, there's literally nobody in here. I feel like that's kind of a waste, in a way. It's kind of tragic. Oh well. So cool, though. Go ahead and hop back in the motorcycle. Uh-oh. Alrighty. One thing that these expansions did start getting a little bit more pulled apart on was the fact that there's such vast open areas, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of substance to it. I don't know if, hopefully, if you watch this, you'll understand. There was a game called Far Cry that did the same thing for a few games. Yeah, sure, the map was absolutely massive, but in terms of substance, there was very little to it. There was just, you know, okay, everything just feels like flat ground, and you just sprinkle these little enemies on top of it. There's not a lot of in-between design or depth, or this is so cool, like the underwater. You can go underwater, so there is an underwater segment of this map, but I have always felt like this is just so cool. Music, imagery here. So awesome. So beautiful. This leads into a dungeon. I think that's near the end of this area is when you'll unlock it. And eventually you free like the fairy that's here. You can see like the remnants of like the big underwater city that was here. Forgot there's also like a big house over there. And we've got our little weird rolling hills with our houses. This is where the all the fairies and stuff are. And then you've got the weird like hedge people designs. And this is like why I'm saying like this is some very Alice in Wonderland shit. It's just weird. These are all bullying this one hedge. Acid's one hell of a drug. I'm sure. Not that I've ever done it. Aetheryte. Yep. There's a little bit more to this area. I think there was a it's a big like wooden area over here. I need to check that out. Interesting little crystal, and there's like a bunch of I really want to know the meaning behind this. I don't think that this is something that you can go inside of, but that's okay. So to kind of like end this, I'm gonna go to Old Charlian and kind of just show that off. This might be a little bit of a shorter video. I do like these areas though. Okay, so yeah, we've got BR and a lot, like Jim BR and a lot of these player names. So I'm wondering if we've got more of like a Brazilian presence on this server. That's kind of a cool outfit. Very technical, very Deckers, Saints Row vibes to it. I do always like the music in this area. It's just chill, guitar, a lot of fun. Just gonna kind of walk through, maybe to end the video, just be walking through everything. Although this music though does remind me, and people might hate me for this, but there was an area in like an old Sonic game that I'm pretty sure they like ripped the music off for this. It's Sonic 06, or it was like Sonic the Werehog or something like that, that I think they like ripped all this off of from. I'm not saying that directly, I'm just, this is a very just general calming aesthetic. It just reminds me of the zone in those games. I think that we're in the kind of like scholarly area. Imagine getting a lecture here. I like being the center of attention.